Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick butt show called Steve and Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Yeah, welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. SummerSlam week continues. It rolls on. It's SummerSlam/Phil Brooks week because, of course, I'll be honest with you, probably bigger than SummerSlam. Look, SummerSlam happens every year. That is something that we can count on. What doesn't happen every year. What doesn't happen every year is CM Punk coming back. And he's going to be coming back to AEW this Friday. We're going to be watching live when it happens on the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Then we're going to be talking about it afterwards. We're going to be talking about SmackDown after that. So very exciting times in wrestling right now. We're going to be live a lot here at the Twitch. And, of course, all of our recaps and whatnot are going to be up there on the YouTube. If you're watching us on the YouTube right now, do us a favor. Hit that like button, that thumbs up right there. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment down below. What did you think of tonight's Dynamite? Larson, what did you think about tonight's Dynamite?
I thought it was a really good first hour, some good action, some good matches, some good story developments. I thought everything with the Elite was great. Second hour, plagued by too much talking. Just too much talking. Like the first hour was really well paced because you had your three matches. You had the talkie bits in between. They even interrupted a talkie bit. It's supposed to be a Mox Eddie promo to open the show. Instead, we got an attack, which led directly to a match. It's just something that I've realized of late. If there's too much talking, I feel like the momentum of the show comes to a screeching halt and just the pacing feels off and it makes the show feel longer.
I will say this.
Hold on, let me get this one thought just real quick, okay?
Please do.
And part of that for me just might be it's more labor intensive to take notes on promos than it is for matches because I'm here trying to get, I'm not trying to get exactly word for word what people are saying, but I want to get, most of it. So I really have to concentrate, and my fingers have to work real fast to do that. And it feels like this is like more involved than sitting in a match. I just sit and watch, enjoy it. Something noteworthy happens or a huge story beat, I make note of it. Otherwise, I go back to watching it. So I mean, it's a different experience for you and I because we have to sit and take notes that other people might not have to deal with just sitting and watching the show. So that's one caveat as far as me saying too much talking stuff is I'm kind of getting tired of that in wrestling.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I'm not even sure it has to do necessarily with our job. I think that my thing is, I was going to say this. There's one caveat with AEW. I do feel at least when they do talking stuff, it always advances something. So you take a look at the second hour, and I did think the second hour was weaker than the first hour because I thought it was a killer first hour. Mm-hmm. It's hard to follow that up. But then in the second hour, you're setting up, admittedly, a weak match for All Out. No offense to, no more Big Show, yes, the Giant Paul White. No offense to him. I think he's great. QT Marshall is beneath him. He should not. I'm all for the Big Show. I'm all for Giant fighting it all out. I think that's fine. I think it's great. It's a big match. It's a big show, rather.
It's
so to speak. I know that was not intentional. It's a big deal. But like QT Marshall's not the thing. And so you got him coming out, and it's kind of a weak segment. But I mean, at least it advances a match. And then Jade Cargill calls out her next opponent, solid, Kiera Hogan.
Yeah, that was good.
The next one, the Super Elite. I mean, I know I'm running down the show, but I'm just giving you some examples here. Super Elite find out who the Young Bucks' next opponent's going to be. Contrast that. See, I'm okay with that because they're advancing stuff.
No, I understand that. But like, for example, the Paul White QT bit. I mean, he could have had that on Dark. He could have put a match on Dynamite.
I don't disagree with that.
Like the Taz bit with Brian Cage, that was a huge nothing.
That was unnecessary. I stopped there because you're totally right. That's unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary. Like the Death Triangle. Like, here's the thing. None of these, outside of the Paul White QT segment, none of them were terribly long. None of them overstayed their welcome. But it's just, like, it's literally talking bits. So you get a Brit interview, you get a Matt Hardy promo, you get a Paul White interview where QT interrupts, you get the Jade Cargill, Mark Sterling bit, you get the Elite interview, you get a Taz promo, you get a Death Triangle interview. You have 7 segments in a row that's all talking.
Yeah.
That's too many in a row.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
And then you have a match. You have Penelope Ford versus Thunder Rosa. Then you have 3 more talkie bits. You have the Brock and Arn Anderson interview. You have the little Miro thing and then Moxley's promo. Individually, none of them are terribly long. And yes, they all advance something. And then you have the main event. There's just too much talking in the main event. Wrestling's at its best, in my opinion, when you could tell stories in the ring. You know?
Yeah.
And that's something AEW typically does really, really, really well. And so when they kind of just like, well, we just do a talkie bit to advance story rather than try to tell a story in the ring, it's just, it's fine because, advances stuff. But just, I'm so used to seeing them do such a good job advancing stories in the ring, and then they just rely on talkie bits. I'm kind of like, all right.
Yeah. It doesn't bother. I'll be honest. It doesn't bother me all much. Like my pet peeve is just when and this typically happens in the Federation when they do an interview and they just reiterate something. Like that's my pet peeve.
Totally.
But with AEW, they keep it really short and advances stuff. It's there for a specific plot reason. I'm cool with it. But I feel 6 in a row is kind of a lot. But yeah. Let's talk about the main event, because I saw some people crowing about the main event on the internet. The 5th labor of Jericho is Jericho versus MJF with the stipulation: no Judas Effect music, no Judas Effect move. So Jericho endeavored to use things like the Lion Salt, the Walls of Jericho, Lion Tamer, that stuff to take out MJF. And in the end, MJF used Judas Effect on Jericho. Jericho had an opportunity with the ref's back turned. He had an opportunity. He stopped himself, and that allowed MJF to then take advantage, get him in a submission, and for God, I don't know, the first time in I don't know how long, Jericho ends up tapping out. I'll be honest with you. I think it's my suspicion. I could be totally wrong about this. It's my suspicion that they're going to run this back as a proper match at All Out, because the stipulation nature of this is Jericho is, he's got basically one arm tied behind his back, so to speak, because his power move is now out of the game. I suspect Jericho is going to appeal to MJF's pride and say, yeah, okay, so you put me through all these obstacles, but you couldn't really beat me at my fullest. And MJF is then going to be like, well, yeah, okay. And Jericho will poke and prod at him. It'll probably be pretty easy. And then they'll set the match up for All Out. I actually really appreciated the story that was told in the ring tonight in the main event. Jericho, the face now, trying to beat MJF at his own stipulations, on his terms. And so he didn't take advantage of the fact the ref's back was turned. He didn't use Judas Effect. And that ended up costing him the match, but he wins on the moral ground because it's like, hey, you know what? I could have beat him if I could use Judas Effect because it was there for me. So in a straight up match, I could totally beat you. What are your thoughts on that main event?
I agree with all you said. I mean, I was kind of expecting for Jericho to actually, during some sort of referee distraction or ref bump, to hit Judas Effect and get the win that way, and therefore MJF could throw the tape, say, you cheated, you should have lost, I get another match, and it All Out on the larger stage, on pay-per-view at arguably AEW's WrestleMania, he gets the win against Jericho to kind of put the punctuation at the end of this Pinnacle Inner Circle feud, even though it doesn't seem like it's quite over yet, given that we still need to have another match between Santana and Ortiz and FTR. They could do something like this. Since Jericho has been destroyed more or less for the last 5 weeks, he's still selling arm that he hurt back at Blood and Guts. Maybe Jericho takes some time off to recuperate, and then he can come back and say, all right, I tried to play this, beat you at your own game. beat you on your terms. And I tried to do that. I failed. Now I'm 100%. Now let's throw down one-on-one, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I noticed some people in the chat, so I'll just address this now. People are saying, well, he used a bat. Yeah, but here's the thing. That wasn't part of the stipulation. MJF didn't say, you can't beat me without using some standard Jericho tropes in matches, which has included Floyd. He didn't say that wasn't the deal. The deal was, here's my stipulation. No Judas music, no Judas effect. And so using the bat wasn't within that. Yeah. Like if MJF pointed up at the screen the next week and said, well, you used a bat. Well, you didn't say I couldn't.
Yeah.
If given the opportunity, you didn't say I couldn't do what we typically do as wrestlers, and Jericho's been both sides of the heel face spectrum. So he would still have the moral high ground because, hey, look, I still beat you had he won this match.
Yeah.
I still beat you. I found a different way to do it. And MJF wouldn't have had a leg to stand on in that case. That's how I'm interpreting that. And I think it's probably the story they were trying to tell.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked how he was about to go for the Judas effect and he caught himself. I personally thought it was a really good performance. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
But yeah,
it wasn't bad.
We'll find out. I assume we'll find out next week how that's going to go. Something tells me Jericho's, for every time that you and I think Jericho's going to I'll believe Jericho's going to take a break when I see it. Because every time we're like, man, he's got to take a break now, right? It never happens. Like, we thought after Blood and Guts, what was he gone for like a week, I think? And then he came back the next week.
With the Bubbly Bath, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to check to see if, that's not the name of the band. I was looking for Fozzy tour dates, and I put Judas tour dates in there. So let me do it again.
He's not part of it as much as he'd want to be Judas Priest.
It's 2022. So they got some tour dates coming up. Is this 2021? Yeah, starting in next month.
Yeah, okay. All right. Like when in September?
So I'm assuming these are the 2021 dates. It doesn't really say. It just has dates. So September 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. I don't know what day of the week those are. Let me see if those are up to date.
Beans from the East says, I think Fozzy's here in Baltimore on the 11th.
Then they would be up to date then. Then these are accurate, yeah.
No, there you go. Well, the 5th is conspicuously missing there.
Yes. I was going to double check and see if there's any Wednesdays on their tour docket. So Wednesday the 1st, no. The 8th, no. The 15th, no. The 22nd, no. The 29th, no. So at least for September, he has his Wednesdays free.
Well, there you go.
Maybe he booked his tour around where AEW is going to be. I don't know.
No, that wouldn't shock me. He has been around. Like, it's not like Jericho has been a missing presence on AEW. Like Cody comes and goes, but Jericho seems to be there quite a bit.
So, for example, the September 8th Dynamite, I think it's in Cincinnati. The day before, they're in Wisconsin, and the day after, they're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And then 22nd is in New York.
All right. We don't need to know.
He's got the whole week open
schedule. So. All right. I think that they're probably going to do an all-out match. It seems it makes sense that they do an all-out match. And then let's see here. I don't know. Yeah, I thought that opening match was. Well, let's just get into it.
Yeah,
let's just dive into
it. So the show supposed to open up with the Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston promo. They're making their way through the crowd to the ring, and they get attacked by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. So they're brawling all through the crowd. Eventually make their way down to the ring. Matt Lee grabs a mic. It says they just took out Sting and Darby Allin. We just took out your boys, and now you got nothing. If you want a taste, why don't you come get it right here, right now? Bring a ref out here.
You want a taste? So, Sting comes out. Darby attacks from behind. They battle up to like a lobby area up through the crowd. Danny Garcia comes out. He helps out. When Darby Allin got launched up into like that roof area, that looked gnarly. That looked really gnarly. And I did see a little bit of blood on his face later on, and I wonder if it was from that because, man, he got launched.
Yeah.
So anyways, 2.0 and Garcia beat up on Sting. They start going down. Darby walks down sort of the handrail, the concrete handrail there, launches himself onto the whole group. Eddie Kingston comes down to help even the odds. 2.0 have Sting in the ring. and blast him, powerbomb him through a table.
Oh, that was
this
great.
dude gets right back up. Sting got right back up, then hit a double Scorpion Death Drop on 2.0 and stacked them, put him in a double deathlock. I love that match. I thought, and then they tap out. I thought that was absolutely spectacular stuff. I thought it was a ton of fun. Sting still looks like he's in absolutely great shape. What a they were going over the point ad nauseum that this is Sting's first match on TNT. Since the final Nitro.
Last Nitro against Ric Flair, yeah.
That's right, yeah. He looked great, and I thought this was a really fun match.
That table spot was tons of fun. I was not expecting him to no sell and get up and start banging on his chest. It was pretty solid. Yep. After that, we go to Sammy Guevara before the show. Proposed to his girlfriend Pam. So they
evidently,
are now
I called this
married.
happening. Some people had pointed out that I had said this on a show at some point.
I don't know.
So good job, me. Way to go.
So. Yeah,
I'm awesome.
I guess so. Then we got a Sean Spears Tully promo before Sean Spears' match with Sammy. He says it must be slim pickings here in Houston, but congratulations nonetheless. This is when you're in Pinnacle.
Yeah.
I know you're always on top. So he's going to make Pam a member for Pinnacle for one night only, and for one night only, he'll let her be on top.
Oh wow! Ooh, woo! After that, like Ric Flair on a train. After that, we had that match: Sean Spears versus Sammy Guevara.
This was a lot of fun too. It's amazing. I say this all the time. It's amazing to see the confidence with which Sammy Guevara is performing these days, as opposed to what he was doing even on the first Dynamite, even a year ago. It's something to behold to see someone grow so much over the course of the last year and a half or 2 years.
It's pretty great. It's awesome to see Sean Spears doing something that he's clearly invested in. It's like, is he going to have a match at All Out? No. Is he super feature all the time? No. But for being in a faction, he's got his thing. He's got his feud. And I think it's awesome for him. I think it's great. Mm-hmm. They brawl a lot before the bell. Spears sort of gets the upper hand on that one. The bell finally rings. The ref ejects Tully, but not after a lot of protesting from Tully.
He just didn't get the upper hand. He had Tully hit a pile driver on the floor on Sammy.
I sort of undersold that, huh? Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, Sammy was pretty messed up.
Sammy launching himself off the stage onto Spears before that was pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Great. Yeah, that was like full speed right there.
Yeah.
This is a really, really fun, really physical match. Mm-hmm. Sammy put Spears through a barricade that's sort of draped between the apron and the other barricade with the DVD. In the end, Sammy hits a 630, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's it. That's the match," including myself. And then Spears kicks out of that.
I wrote that down too. He wins with 630. Didn't happen though.
Right? Yeah. And then Sammy gets him back. Sammy hits a bunch of knee strikes, and then a GTH.
Yeah.
How many people are going to be doing variations on the GTS with old Phil coming back, man?
I'm guessing Sammy's still going to do it.
Probably.
Yeah.
He did it tonight. He's marking his territory.
Everybody's trying to stake their claim to be Phil's first match, probably.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, because now you're thinking, oh, he just did the thing.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this has been Sammy's finisher for a while. This isn't a new thing, so.
True.
Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it can be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule weekly phone or video sessions. And they've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Craig. You know, Steve, I feel like I want to take up a new hobby. I want to make stuff out of wood with these hands of mine, but I honestly have no idea where to start.
So, Larson wants to get into woodworking, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I was once like you, Larson, feeling the urge to craft something with these hands of mine, but unsure if I could do so. But then I got these hands on a Kreg Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. Kreg has been the innovator and leader in pocket hole joinery, setting the standard for 30 plus years. And now, if I got my Kreg Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro and a drill, I feel like I can build nearly anything from bookcases to desks to outdoor patio furniture.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, please tell me more. Tell me more, please.
Not a problem. You see, pocket hole joinery is a way of creating fast, simple, and strong joints in a variety of wood projects. And the Kreg Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro makes it easier than ever. You know me, Larson. I've never been terribly handy, and the thought of building something out of wood with these hands of mine seemed like a pipe dream. But after going to KregTool.com, that's K-R-E-G Tool.com, and getting my hands on a Kreg Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro, I can build pocket hole projects anytime, anywhere.
Wow. Wow, I am impressed, Steve, but I got a question for you.
Yes.
Can you build me a bookcase, please?
No, Larson, because you can do it. Now anyone, even Larson, can easily create perfect and strong pocket hole joints with the Kreg Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. It works with a wide variety and size of material, and it's great for building all types of indoor and outdoor wood projects.
The Kreg Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro comes with everything you need, retails for just $99.99. It's available nationwide at Home Depot, Lowe's, and other home centers, woodworking, and hardware stores. Learn more at KregTool.com. That's K-R-E-G Tool.com.
Again, that's KregTool.com. K-R-E-G Tool.com.
After that, Steve's favorite wrestler, Christian Cage, was supposed to have an interview. Instead, Don Callis steps in. And he was like, Christian, last time I saw you, what was it, 20-some years ago? I gave you your start in this business. He's totally forgetting what happened on Friday.
Right,
like, hey, good job pulling a rabbit out of your hat and win those Impact titles. You'll get to take on the wrestling god All Out and finally get that 5-star match. Callis says, nothing has changed. I'm still on top of the wrestling business. You're still having matches. So Christian cuts him off. What?
Like, I know I'm supposed to be the anti-Christian guy, right? But what do you mean just having matches? He just won the Impact title.
Yeah, it's a slight going back to the no 5-star match thing. That's what it is. Because I think if you read wrestlers on Twitter, everybody respects the hell out of Christian for being a pro's pro, being really smooth in the ring, you know?
Yeah.
I think this is all kind of wrapped up together. So anyways, Christian cuts him off, says, I'm in Kenny's head. I took the Impact title All Out. Kenny knows I'm taking the AEW title. Christian says, you're right, though, Don. Some things never change. You still think you're the smartest guy in the room, but you're just a carny piece of shit.
Oof. After that, we had a nice little Dante Martin video where he says last week he pushed Kenny Omega to his limits, but next time he's going to be better. And then Dan Lambert comes out. I love Dan Lambert. Immediately, he says AEW has jumped aboard the cancel culture train and sent Archer in there to hurt Lambert. He says usually UFC fighters would not be allowed to step foot in an AEW ring, but I made one phone call to my good friend Dana White, so I brought Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovsky with me. He says, but I'm going to tell you guys what I was telling you last time before I was interrupted. AEW is not the answer. He runs down the crowd, says the only reason you're here is because AEW is the only other option besides sitting at home in your mom's basement looking up creepy shit on the dark web, which really did make me laugh. So Archer comes out. He's going to beat his ass again. But instead, he gets attacked by Sky and Page, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Yes, men of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what they're called? Men
Yeah.
of the Year?
Yeah.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I rarely see those guys. Were they on Dark or Elevation?
Maybe.
Was Sky injured? I thought I remember it was Sky
Oh,
injured
maybe.
or something.
Could be. Then we get a Chris Jericho promo. He says for the past 4 weeks he's endured the labors of Jericho, but he's paid the price. Yet he's survived and he's won. And tonight he gets the ultimate prize. All the blood he spilled is worth it because tonight is Jericho versus MJF one-on-one. Says I might not have Judas the music or Judas the finishing move, but I've got momentum and I've got 5,000 fans who are going to sing me to the ring. And I imagine like he stares at the camera like, "You're going to, right? Please,
Yeah.
Please
can
do.
you do that?
please,
Can you guys please try to be in sync?
please." Says MJF isn't as good as he thinks he is, and tonight Jericho is going to beat his ass. He says, "I'm going to win. Tonight is Jericho up and MJF down." I thought, oh, is Sami Callihan going to show up?
Right?
I
I
thought
thought
that.
it was going to be Sammy. How cool would that have been? That'd been pretty neat.
If MJF said, fifth labor, changed my mind. You get the draw. You get
That'd have
Sami
been
Callihan.
sick. That'd have been really cool. I want to see that match, man. I want to see Sammy versus Jericho. That'd
Yeah.
be really neat. After that, we had Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks for
Fun
the
match,
tag
too. It was a really
championships.
fun match.
Holy moly, this was a really fun match. That superplex on Nick from Luchasaurus' shoulders was something
Ouch.
new. That
Ouch.
was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool stuff happened on. Good match. Kenny comes out, hits Marco with a chair. They put the chair in the ring. Christian comes out to take out Kenny. They battle back to the back. The Good Brothers distract the ref on the other side of the ring. Jungle Boy hits a brainbuster on Matt on the chair, which was rough looking.
Yeah.
Nick breaks that pin up.
Well, you think at that moment, sorry to interrupt, because you go back to Rampage, and now Kenny lost the impact tiles. You're like, oh,
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's
going to happen again.
Symmetry and stuff.
Yeah, because by this point in the match, if Jurassic Express had won right there, you would have bought into it. And you would have gotten out of your seat and popped because this match was really well paced and really well booked. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Exactly. I don't think I would have got out of my seat, but I definitely would have waved my hands
I know, you
and
have a very
said something
comfortable chair,
loud.
so.
It's very comfortable. So Jurassic Express hits Thoracic Express on Matt. Nick breaks that up. The Luchasaurus takes out everybody who's on the outside, but then the Young Bucks take advantage of that by hitting BTE trigger on Jungle Boy for the win. And they come out on top. But a really furiously paced
It was really
match.
good. It was
really excellent finish. I thought it was great.
So after the bout, Gallows and Kenny come out. Gallows has Christian over his shoulder, and then the Elite proceed to beat down the faces. Kenny's really taking it to Christian. He tells Callis to kick Christian while he's at it. Callis does so, sells foot like he hurt himself doing it. Kenny follows with a one-winged angel and then covers Christian. Kenny tells Callis to count the pin. He does. All the while, Kenny's wearing a shirt that says Chick Magnet.
I wonder what does that mean?
There was a wrestler who
Yeah.
has used the initials CM in his name.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
testified in court that
Yep.
CM stood for, initially at least, Chick Magnet. That's Phil.
That's Phil Brooks.
That's Phil.
The Phil Brooks.
CM Punk.
Man, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
It's a big brawl. Kenny hits one-winged angel on Christian, right?
Uh-huh.
Callis takes a second to get down there. He counts to 3. If you're Christian, and it's like been 5, right? And you've come to, do you kick out of this that's not even a pin? Or are you just like, oh no, I'm gonna stay here because if I kick out, I look kind of like an asshole because it's not really a match.
Exactly.
What do you do?
No, you just sit
there.
You just sit there and take it because if you kick out there, but then when
Yeah.
the real match actually happens, you don't kick out, you're going to look like an asshole.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So just don't kick out.
Just don't kick out. Just act like, oh, you got me so good, brother.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Britt Baker interview. She gives a nice, proper introduction to Jamie Hayter. And Jamie says, me and Britt go way back. And then she challenges Red Velvet to a match in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And Britt says, hey, Red, you said red's not my color. I think it is. But you know what's definitely my color? Gold. Gold. And you're never going to get this gold, Red Velvet. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't Red Velvet have to eat this loss here to Jamie Hayter?
It certainly seems that way, which is a bummer because Red Velvet's really good.
Yeah, she's good, but she's going back down the rankings.
After that, we get a Matt Hardy, Orange Cassidy video package. They're having a match next week. It's all to set up a match next week. Matt Hardy talks a bunch of crap about best friends, starting with Wheeler Yuta because he beat him. It says, I'll beat Chuck too, and I'll beat Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's like, hey, you want to fight me? All right, let's do it next week. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah. After that, yeah, we've got a Paul White interview, and he gets in there with Tony. He's really super hyped about having gotten back in the ring. Chokeslam Solo. He says he's got a huge announcement, but he's cut off by QT Marshall, a.k.a. Plugs. He makes a really lame Houston, we have a problem reference.
And the audience groans.
It's just the most palpable groan, right? So he says, we wanted to come out here and stop you from saying something you couldn't deliver on. And they just, this was really long. They just talk shit back and forth. Big Show invites them in. Plug says there's a reason you were hired as an announcer, not as a wrestler. Giant starts to get pissed. Plugs introduces a photo of Big Show's x-rays of his hip. He's got like a million different chunks of metal in there and a giant scar in his butt. And so Big Show gets pissed. That's when he actually dubs him Plugs. And then he says, but I talked to Tony Khan and it all out. I got a match with you. And I'm like, is this like a pre-show thing? Is this like some sort of like Dark Elevation special?
Maybe.
In the kickoff show on YouTube? Maybe.
Next we got Mark Sterling and Jade Cargill. Sorry, Jade
this dude
Cargill.
Talks way too goddamn much. They need to let her do the talking.
I know.
She's a good talker. Why is he talking so goddamn much?
I don't know why they got a manager for Jade. I don't know. She didn't need it.
Yeah, she doesn't need it.
She doesn't need it.
Like, I know in kayfabe he's booking like, brand deals and stuff or something, or getting hashtags over, but I feel like he's kind of just, he's not. She's much more impressive when it's just her. Like this dude taking up he just looks like the most normal dude.
I know.
And he's just eating up screen.
Especially the whole story about her trying to find the right manager,
Yeah. Anyway. Manager shuts the hell up and gets behind her, maybe.
I know. Anyway, so Mark Sterling really putting over Kira Hogan. She's had a couple matches on Dark or Elevation. Says those performances has earned her a match against Jade this Friday at Rampage. That's really awesome. See Kira Hogan. She just left Impact a little bit ago, making her way onto AEW programming. That's fantastic.
I think it's great. I think that I don't want her taking all these L's because I think she's terrific.
She is really good.
But you got to start somewhere. I guess that's how they do it in AEW sometimes. Sometimes it's kind of curious. After that, we got a Super Elite interview where they're all hyped because they're going to Hawaii. And then Tony breaks the news that there's going to be an eliminator tournament for tag teams to determine a number one contender. And then they're going to fight, I believe, in All Out in a steel cage against the Young Bucks, whoever the number one contender is. Yeah. So who's your early pick
Lucha Brothers
for the number one contender? It should be the Lucha Brothers, shouldn't it?
Should be the Lucha Brothers, yeah.
Great with that.
Because they just beat Jurassic Express. They're in this tournament. They've beaten, they've beaten everybody. It's probably not going to be Varsity Blondes.
Pac was selling them as, hey, you guys, you, Nintendo, you should be tag team champions.
Yes.
Their boss Pac is really behind them.
Yes. It was funny at the end of this bit where they all storm off except for Cutler. And Cutler just says, well, can I still go to Hawaii?
He wants to go to Hawaii, man.
I mean, who would?
Hawaii's lovely.
A really awkward Team Taz thing. So he introduces himself like we don't know who Taz is. He introduces Hook.
We all know him.
And then he introduces the new For the World champion, Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
So Starks walks out on stage, and then he's like, yeah, Brian Cage and I keep missing each other. So I'll invite you out so we can talk this out man to man. And we cut backstage, and Hobbs has laid out Cage, goes to get him up, and the Cage just starts hitting Hobbs. And Starks is like, and just runs away. And then Hobbs and Taz get out of the ring, and Hobbs just not Hobbs, Hook. Hook and Taz get out of the ring, and Hook just kind of saunters back. No urgency whatsoever.
Team Taz is still the most hapless. It bums me out because number one, Hobbs is criminally underused.
Yes.
Criminally.
Yes.
His overalls were amazing.
Yes.
They were all airbrushed. Brian Cage is really... He's a good wrestler. I think he's a better Thanos than he is a Brian Cage.
What Brian Cage would, at least right now, would do really well? In a tag team. Put him in a tag team.
With who? Who would you put him in there with?
I don't know. Imagine a tag team of him and Lance Archer.
Holy shit. They'd kill everybody. That's great.
And then you have, like, Archer's a good talker. You got Jake there. Just put Brian Cage in the ring and let him like do all his cool moves.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I don't know, man. This Team Taz stuff, like, it's like, okay, guys, listen. You've got 3.5 minutes. What do you got for me? Hey, that's not even enough to intro Hook.
I know he's going to say the Taz has 90 seconds to introduce everybody, you know?
Yeah, right? Like, this Team Taz. It's so weird, isn't it? Like, they're still feuding with this guy. There's like 4 of them, and they're still feuding with this one guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a mess.
It is a mess. It is a mess.
After that, we had Death Triangle. Pac says, hey, Andrade, All Out is perfecto. He says, what better place than where I obliterated Kenny Omega on 2 weeks' notice? I think there's a little bit of shade in that Andrade couldn't beat Kenny Omega this past week, and he did it on 2 weeks' notice.
Of course, yes.
A couple of years ago. So Andrade just interrupts the interview and says, if you want this match, you need to agree to my condition. And it's like a phone book sized contract writer where, like, he's going to have just so what is in this writer of his, man? So, like, Led Zeppelin back in the day, they had the M&Ms that were all just the green ones.
Well, it was Van Halen that had certain things separate. But I read somewhere that the reason they did that is to make sure people actually read the contract.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if they
absolutely.
went to the dressing room and the M&Ms were all together, their contract hadn't been read. So
who was it at that? Was it E3 we went to? And there was it Lil Jon who had like a bunch of bottles of Hennessy like behind his table? Do you remember that? You know that sounds familiar, right?
I remember Lil Jon.
Who was it?
I don't remember. Was it on the show floor?
Yeah. And he was there at like a booth or something helping to advertise some product.
It was T-Pain.
It was T-Pain. That's right. It was T-Pain. And we looked at that. We're like, oh, look, that must be in his rider right there to make sure people are paying attention. Mm-hmm. So what's in Andrade's rider? Charlotte, right?
Charlotte and Ric Flair have to be there.
Ric Flair can't take a train this time.
No. Well, according to him, he doesn't take trains.
Well, not anymore.
The way he put it, he didn't. Never.
Yeah, but what is he going to say? That was me? Come on now. Woo! Style and profiling.
Yeah.
Eating butthole on a train.
So after that, we had Penelope Ford versus Thunder Rosa. This is a fun match. Thunder Rosa got the win. Penelope Ford's been using the Muda Lock. That's what commentary said. And so she tried for it twice. Thunder Rosa actually pretty easily escaped it both times. The second time,
yeah, right.
She reversed that into like a part deathlock, part sleeper type submission of her own, and Ford taps out.
Right. After that, we had the most dejected looking Arn Anderson. It's like after Malachi Black annihilated his head.
I know.
It's like he went home that night after 15 years clean and sober. Open up the bottle. Pour down the old gullet. Oh, man. He looked wrecked tonight. He looked wrecked. And Brock Anderson, who's either 22 or 52 years old, is next to him. Arn is just completely dejected. And then he says that on Dynamite in like a week or two or Rampage or something coming up soon, the baby Arn is going to have a match against Malachi Black. And Arn immediately is like, look, dude, Brock, he's going to hurt you, man. This is not going to be good. And Brock's like, well, Dad, I got to do it. I'm not, with all due respect, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. And then he just sort of saunters off.
Yeah, he just leaves.
He's got like a shirt that's like too big. The AEW shirt's kind of too big for him and faded.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like he borrowed Dad's shirt.
It really was.
It's like, damn it, Dad, I forgot to bring my AEW shirt. Can I borrow yours?
Here's mine.
Right, this is the last time.
Will Terminator says, why does Brock sound like Hank Hill? Damn it, Dad. I got to go fight this Malachi Black.
Propane,
and then go
propane
sell
accessories.
some propane and propane accessories.
All right, I stepped away for a minute. What was this Miro promo? And I'm really kicking myself for stepping away and missing Miro because he's kind of my favorite.
Number one, he does not forgive Fuego because he took something that he did not earn, the contract.
Yeah.
Number two, he wants to have a discussion with Eddie Kingston.
Oh.
I do not know what this discussion's about, but I imagine it's going to be followed by him kicking the shit out of Eddie Kingston and putting him in that great submission of his, the game over accolade,
over.
whatever it's called.
Game over now.
He still calls it the game over?
Yeah.
He doesn't call it like something else, like, I don't know, the Burning Bush or
Redemption lock or
that.
something like that. He's the
Redemption
He's
lock.
the Redeemer.
Yeah, no, it's good. You know, I was thinking like biblical, you know, like, I don't know. Like I said, the burning bush. Isn't that something out of the Bible?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what Moses
What's the story? What's the story of the burning bush?
I believe Moses sees it in
Does he?
Yeah, that's all I know about it.
Moses, you could have made some shit up, and I'd be like, "Wow,
No, that's
you really know your
1000%
Bible,
legit.
don't you?"
It is Moses. I've seen the Ten Commandments, or at least part of it. It's a really
is
long
that
movie.
Somebody says he tells him to kill his kid? Is that right?
Wow, I remember
No?
that part.
I don't remember that part. I know there is a thing where somebody's supposed to kill his kid.
That was Job,
Job.
I think.
Yeah, okay. All right. Abraham. Our
Yes,
Lopez
that's what
Ortiz
it
is
is. Yeah,
Abraham.
that's who it is. Sorry,
Yeah.
Abraham.
Job.
That is correct.
God Bluth. That's who it is.
Yes. Anyways, this isn't biblical talk. We're talking about pro wrestling here. Next,
There we are.
John Moxley had an interview. It was like, everybody wants a piece of AEW these days. It makes me
Boy.
wonder what makes him think so easy. And then he looks at Kenny. He's got like an army around him, keeping that title around his waist. He goes on and talks crap about a bunch of people. Says, don't get me started on Christian. He says he's been the guy who carried the title on his back, carried this company through uncertain time. He was carrying the flag on Wednesday nights, and now everybody wants a piece. He's like, hey, Daniel Garcia, you want to taste the main event? I'll give it to you. But before you get in front of the bright lights on United Center, ask yourself if that's what you really want. Ask yourself if that's really where you want to be on top in AEW.
Dude's pissed. I wonder if it's because everybody else is coming in with like these favored nations clauses like they did back in WCW.
Maybe.
It's like, I didn't get that. I just got a straight appearance deal. I'm
Well,
making
you
200,
should've-
200 bucks per episode of Dynamite.
I know. They didn't pay me gas money.
So then we had the crowd singing Judas.
Yeah.
I thought number one, I hate this stuff. I think it's super cringy. That being said, objectively speaking, they did a killer job.
It was pretty well
They did
done.
a really good job.
AEW tweeted out the lyrics to the song a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had, either that or you just go on Google and you could Google the lyrics. Everybody's on their phone singing. They were able to do a good job of carrying the melody and more or less do it on tempo and all kind of at the same time. How many shows we've been to or seen on TV where chants break out and half the arena's chanting at one point and the other half is chanting a completely different part at another point.
No idea
and
what
it's
they're
a mess.
doing. Yeah.
It kind of built up. So by the time the pre-chorus started, everybody was more or less in unison.
Right.
Everybody else was singing along.
Yeah.
Early on, a couple people started. It picked up from there. It was pretty darn effective. It was pretty neat.
I thought it was. I thought it was. They definitely did it. And then we had the match.
Yes, hats off for doing it.
Hats off. I did, man, because watching them with the music playing every week, they can't get that shit right. But no, I thought they did a good job. And then we had our match, Jericho versus MJF. We kind of talked about this a lot. MJF was working over Jericho's busted elbow. Jericho tried all sorts of stuff. Lion Salt, the Walls Jericho, Lion Tamer, all that stuff. And then, yeah, I don't know why my notes just cut off here. That's weird. I thought I had full
Stop
notes.
watching.
So yeah, as we I just stopped watching. So yeah, like I said, Jericho. At one point, MJF gets the ring, and the ref takes the ring and says, "No, you can't use ring." Meanwhile, Jericho grabs Floyd, hits MJF with Floyd, then goes for Judas effect, and it's like, "Ooh, wait, no, can't do that." MJF hits his own Judas effect, and then a couple moments later, he has him in. I think it was Salt of the Earth, right? Yeah. Crank that thing, and right as JR saying, I don't know, last time I saw Chris Jericho tap out, he starts tapping out. He's like, oh my God, holy shit, what is that?
They did milk that moment pretty well, where
They did.
MJF puts him in the Fujiwara arm bar, and Jericho tries to roll him on his back to get the pin that way. MJF rolls him back, Jericho back on his stomach, and really starts cranking that arm back. And Jericho sold the moment pretty well. It wasn't like he tapped out immediately. He tried to refrain, couldn't. He tapped. MJF wins. I did like that MJF did the Jericho's camera bit early on, where he was panning around the crowd, flipping him off, and pans over to Jericho, and Jericho's standing there and pops the camera, which knocks the eyepiece into MJF's face. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. I know we've got an active live chat here. We got like 400 people with us. And I've got a thread here on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Of course, tomorrow we're going to be doing for our patrons and our YouTube channel members and our Twitch subs. We're going to be doing The Numbers Don't Lie on Kevin Nash, also known as Diesel.
Yeah.
Also known as Chet Lemon.
Correct.
We're going to be doing the Going in Raw math.
What was his Master Blaster name? Steel?
Steel? No, Steel was the other one. I think Steel was the other one.
I'll look. Go ahead and find the question.
JTV says, if your gear was lost, what would you wear to the ring? I'd see if I get Arn Anderson's... oh, nice. Good job, me. I would see if I can get Arn Anderson's old faded AEW shirt.
That's good. Apparently, Penelope Ford's luggage got lost.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Just the context of that question.
Dang MQ brings up Fightful Select is reporting. This was earlier in the day. Reporting that Impact assigned Zicky Dice to be in the Impact Zone. So congratulations, Zicky Dice. That's so cool, man.
That is very cool. That's very
Twitch
cool.
friends with Zicky Dice. We got to have him here on the show.
For sure. Maggie gets in a sub to I'm the Greatest. Thank you so much, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
Let me scroll down and find some questions here.
Rich asks, what would it take for Jericho to accept a WWE Hall of Fame invite, and would he accept? Lejeune also says here in the replies, he would definitely accept. The way he talked during the Stone Cold podcast, he'd be down. Yeah, Jericho is his own forbidden door.
Totally.
He would do it while still under contract with AEW. I think Tony Khan would probably let him do it.
Tony Khan would totally allow it.
And he'd do it, and I think there'd be no hard feelings. I don't know. The big question, of course, is would Vince do it? But, you know.
I mean, I was shocked that he was on Broken Skull Sessions while under contract with AEW. So.
Same.
Nothing Clever says, I would love it if Jericho brings out his old friend CM Punk on Friday to give MJF a beatdown. What if they work Punk into every segment?
Every segment, yeah. That'd be great. Yeah, I like it. That'd probably not be effective. Let's see here. What are... David Matushek, what are QT's plugs chances of ever making Dynamite again after his match with Paul White at All Out? I think that Cody is on the phone. He's like, hey, Cody Island gets a spot every week. Camarado needs to change that outfit, by the way.
Yeah.
It's so distracting.
It is.
Looks like a bunch of, I don't know.
It's like he's got a bunch of belts. But
it's basically what it's like. A bunch of
not championship belts. Belts that help keep your pants up.
Yeah, wrong kind of belts. You don't want to be.
You
here
want
for
the
those
championship belts, not belts to keep pants up.
You want the championship
when you're out there as a wrestler. I missed this earlier. The Bald Monkeys with the raid. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bald Monkeys. Go follow Bald Monkeys on Twitch. That's really nice of you. Let's see here. Lejeune also asks, will AEW ever move past these multi-man melees during the show? We had 2 tonight, the tag match and the Christian one. Is this something that ends as Omega and the Elite start dropping titles? No, I think AEW likes their factions, and when you have factions, you're going to have multi-man melees. I like them. It's one of the things from something that I miss from WCW because I used to do that all the time. I love factions. I love the chaos. I think it's great. So, I imagine it's probably not going anywhere anytime soon, but good question.
Someone by the name of BHeart69 here in chat said, I would have never tapped. Don't know what Chris was thinking. Who could that be?
Brett, get out of here, Brett. Come on, we all know who that is.
That's not me. I wouldn't. I know.
Nah, I mean, what does Brett do it in our Twitch chat? That doesn't make any sense.
This guy's just everywhere, man. It's everywhere. Here we go. Pop Punk Bob Ross says, what's your favorite AEW shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees? You know, Punk is going to set a new record with that, right? Oh, yeah. he's going to destroy probably Sting's record or whoever has the record now.
I think so far that first Malachi Black shirt was probably my favorite. It was a pretty good design.
Yeah, that is it. It doesn't, because it didn't look like a wrestling shirt.
Yeah,
Just looked like a cool shirt. Yeah.
Lou NYC thinking about the 5 labors of Jericho instead of the 4th being Wardlow. It definitely should have been Jeff Cobb as a callback to when Jericho brought Cobb in for Mox, right? That'd have been cool.
Oh, that's a cool. I wonder if many people remember that was a thing though. But yeah, that'd have been really cool. I mean, they could have just showed footage of it. Let's see here.
Jorge D, we all know about Cody Island tonight. Taz established Team Taz Island since they have not feuded with anyone outside of Team Taz in a while. Who in AEW is next to get their own island? Or will Taz and Cody Island unite to make a super island?
Oh, wow. Taz and Cody Island is one island. It's like, when the continents merged and demerged.
Maybe they'll have Elite Island.
Pangea.
Once they start to fall apart, they start feuding with each other.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's
we get
good.
our
Elite Island.
Young Bucks versus Good Brothers match finally.
Yeah, big ass island. Steve Klain, this is a great question. What's one move you would like to see done off the top rope that you have never seen?
Package pile driver.
I wonder if that's never been done.
I haven't seen it, but I don't know.
I'd like to see, standing on the top rope somehow.
Yeah. Package pile driver, yeah.
No, listen.
Oh.
You did yours. Standing on the top rope, somehow getting somebody up in for a last ride. Because I'm just thinking of like the highest thing you could possibly do. Because when you do a last ride, you go far up there.
Didn't someone gave Kenny a top rope razor's edge on the day one of those Long Beach shows in the tournament?
Ooh, oh man, that's rough.
I felt like
that'd put me down for good.
Yeah, same.
That's horrifying. The razor's edge, that's up there with the Alabama Slam in terms of moves that I would never take. Look, let's be honest, I would never take any wrestling moves because I'm soft.
Yeah,
but
same.
In terms of like moves that I look at and I'm like, oh, you couldn't pay me enough money to take that. Razor's edge is definitely up there because you have to like have so much faith, and it's like a trust fall thing and you just fall to the mat.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. Zoe Conrana, doesn't Jericho kind of look dumb for forgetting he couldn't use Judas Effect? I mean, he had a week. He mentioned he couldn't use it earlier in the show. He doesn't know how to use the code breaker. How do you forget? When you're in the heat of action.
Muscle memory.
It's muscle memory, exactly. It's muscle memory.
Sorry, I'm Church asks, Jericho's jacket was boss tonight. What is your favorite one-time entrance attire? Did Okada use the dinosaur more than once?
That's a good question.
Because I would say the dinosaur for Okada. I know it's not attire, but it's part of his presentation.
Yeah. So I guess it was, Michael Elgin and Kenny. It was that match.
Okay. All right.
First round of the U.S. title tournament. I believe, if I remember correctly. My memory is garbage now, so who knows? Sorry, what was the question? A one-time attire?
Yeah, one-time entrance attire.
I'm sure there's a WrestleMania attire that someone just wore once that I'm forgetting about.
Yeah. While you're at it, Moses Opposis asks, who do you think takes the tag titles off the Young Bucks? I think it might be the Lucha Brothers.
I hope it is the Lucha Bros.
Same. They're
Lucha
great.
Brothers, please.
Por favor.
Amazing Rick, is it time for MJF to challenge for a championship? I mean, he could make the case.
I don't know where he is in the standings. Let me take a look here. I want to see him in the standings.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you'd think that the case totally would have to be made.
Yeah. Hip Hop Hippo, what's the worst SummerSlam idea you'd pop huge for?
The worst SummerSlam idea?
It's Sid somehow stealing the Money in the Bank briefcase from Baron Corbin and cashing in on Roman Reigns and winning.
That's a really bad idea, but I'd pop huge for that. So it's hard to top that one, to be honest with you. Okay, I'd pop for this. If WWE claimed that they had some sort of domain over the name CM Punk, and they just made Trey Baxter CM Punk.
Okay.
There was like, no, this is him. It's like, what? you talking about? Get out of here with that. MJF, for some reason, is not in the top 5.
Oh, he hasn't had a whole lot of singles matches.
That is true. Let me see. Roster.
And he doesn't wrestle on Darker Elevation, I don't think.
That's a good point. He doesn't pad them stats.
Nope.
MJF is his 2021 overall, and this is as of today, so it's probably not reflected. So I'll just say, oh man, yeah, okay, 2021 overall. This doesn't even add up. He's got a 1-0 record in singles, a 3-1 record in tag teams. Oh, because Blood and Guts and stuff. Okay, there's been a couple more multi-man matches. Yeah, he's in singles action. He's only 1-0. Now he's probably 2-0.
2-0, yeah. We're in August.
So he'll be like 2-1. So let's see who's in the actual rankings here. Okay, so in the rankings, you got like Hobbs is number 5 at 13-2. He's tied with Jungle Boy at 13-2. Orange Cassidy's at 13-1-1. Darby's at 16-2. Jeez. And Christian is at 7-0. So of course, when Christian loses, he'll fall off the rankings. I don't know who will end up being bumped up from the 6th spot.
Yeah. Maybe Paige. Julio Contreras, with all the obvious references to Punk, have there been any references to Daniel Bryan? And if not, how would he be referenced?
What if there's like a ton of Daniel Bryan Easter eggs and we're not paying attention because we're all
everywhere?
Just not right. Yeah, they're everywhere. Tonight they were like, during the MJF match, like, oh, this is the final countdown for Chris Jericho. Nobody caught it. Nobody caught it. Yeah.
Fear and Loathing, who would you add to Team Taz to clean up the infighting and make them more legit? Lance Archer.
Wow. Okay. I didn't really think of him as a conflict mediator, but that's a good answer. I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa. She like runs her own promotion. I think she's a real,
it's true.
I think she could be a good bonding agent for that.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow, join us for our NXT UK watch along, and more. And of course, tomorrow night, we're back in the Smash Zone here at twitch.tv/Steven Larson. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.